Raymond Hudson,
What's up, Emily?
thanks so much for being with us today. Right now, you're in the process of starting a new church. How did you get here? What led you to say, let's start a church?
I've always, been a person who said, hey, God, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. And so it's less a surprise and more just hey, it was just the next step in our journey.
But I guarantee you had no idea you'd be at the level of comfort of planting a church in the midst of the coronavirus.
No one can prepare you to plant a church in COVID. And that's both like maybe stressful for some, but I'd say for me, like it was actually more exhilarating. And I remember feeling like in my prayer time, God saying like, I've called you out for this very moment. Don't lean back, but push forward. And for me, it was exciting. I wrote a new strategic plan because we were supposed to launch in 6 months. And part of that strategic plan was saying, hey, like, I don't know what the future holds, but I think we should launch a church online with everyone else.
So when Corona hit, instead of leaning back, being tentative, seeing how things played out, you leaned in, you jumped in head first, and you went for it.
All of the plans, it looked like it would be impossible. Like if the coronavirus would continue, it would be impossible to do any of those things. And so I just thought it was just like God saying, run forward. And then I'm like, well, hey, why not launch a church? We're on the same playing field as every other church. We're all going online right now.
I know when you were supposed to officially start City Center weekly services, and that didn't go according to plan. So when were you supposed to have started?
We were supposed to launch September 13th, 2020. And we ended up, again, like pushing up our time schedule to launch Easter 2020 to go digital. Our city doesn't care that a new church is launching in the city of Berkeley, but they do care about like, what are you doing to be a part of the community? So when we made that switch to launch online, we also launched something called, I remember we were sitting and talking about this too, City Cares, which was an initiative to really find ways to impact our community. And we had already been partnering with a middle school. When COVID hits, I get a phone call from the school district and they're saying, hey, like we want to know if there's a way that you can partner with us to take on this huge initiative. 3,000 students that are of need didn't have the resources to do digital school. So we ended up building out 3,000 age-specific, grade-specific bags with the Berkeley School District, like the school district. They called it church plant. I think so many times we think of kids ministry as the kids that show up to our church, which that's a part of it. But even now in COVID, it's like, well, what does kids ministry look like? But for us, we're saying if we can find a way to impact every kid at every school in some way, we can truly impact the lives of people and they can see Jesus.
So you launched early. You started online church, but you want people to belong. You want to create a community of people together. How have you managed to do that digitally?
Building that community is just through being genuine and creating a space to where people can talk and engage and laugh and joke. You can just see people's expressions. It's not fake, it's family. I think about this couple on our team and really just was struggling a ton. I remember before they even joined our team, I'd been doing counseling with them because they were just dealing with addiction and just a lot of issues that were going on and just had lost a job. And I remember the day that they told us they wanted to join our team, he had said, man, one of the biggest reasons why we're joining your team is because when I was at my darkest place, I never felt judged by you guys. It's so cool to be on the journey of seeing people really take their next steps towards God.
You were able to have your very first baptism service not that long ago, and it just looked like the most joyous day. Tell us about that.
Yeah. And one of the kids, which was my daughter, she came to me that night and she said, Dad, like when I got baptized, I felt the Holy Spirit for the first time. And I felt joy. We had 4 people get baptized. We posted the pictures and we had 2 people that aren't in our church or that we really knew. And they messaged me and they're like, hey, saw that you guys did baptisms and we'd love to get baptized together as a couple. And so we're already planning our next baptism gathering.
It is clear, Ray, that City Center Church, that your family will not be stopped by any challenges that are placed in front of you. Thank you for your devotion. Thank you for your hard work that you have continuously poured out into City Center Church, to your team, to your community, to ensure that every child will have a church.
Planning a church is very difficult, so to have a partner like you guys, it's just huge, and so I think it would have been very hard to do what we're doing now without that support. So thank you guys.